Had we met under a different moon, things might have ended there.
Oh, oh, his leg's gone. Oh, oh. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Liban. We got a brand new game reaction today. This is absolutely brand new. It's called The Blood of Dawnwalker. This is the actual game reveal event for it. It's being heralded by Rebel Wolves Studio. These are industry veterans. They worked on some of the biggest games, such as Cyberpunk 2077, such as The Witcher 3, among a bunch of other things. So this has been hyped for quite a while. I'm super interested to see what kind of game it is, what we can expect. I think they said they're going to show us a bit of a cinematic trailer and a little bit of gameplay to go with it. And this is what I'm super interested in seeing. So without further ado, we're just going to cut it from right here. Let's jump right in. Let's see Dawnwalker. The Blood of Dawnwalker.
Hi everyone and welcome to the first ever The Blood of Dawnwalker livestream, our game reveal event. My name is Dominika, I'm the community and social media lead here at Rebel Wolves, and I am joined today by my friend Matt.
For a second I thought you said comedian lead, community, gotcha.
RPG fan, also known as Lionheart.
Thank you so much, Dominika. It is an absolute pleasure to be here live in the Rebel Wolves studio. The game's actually being made here, right?
Yes, we have 120 super talented people working on the game, and many of them are actually watching us right now live from our company watch party. So huge shout out to you guys.
Hey, you can't blame them for being excited. I mean, this is a massive, massive night for the Rebel Wolves team. And for it to come under a full wolf moon, I mean, it's the perfect time for this reveal.
Yes, and we're so excited to see all of you guys and gals joining us on Twitch.
They are really building this up.
Are tricky, so a special thank you to those of you who had to get up early or those staying up late just to be here. We really appreciate that.
Yes, and a very warm welcome as well to all of the streamers who've decided to co-stream this event live to their own communities. I can't wait to see all of your reactions later on.
Definitely. Now, many of you have been asking us about what's been going on behind our doors, and we have great news. The wait is finally over, and we are ready to unveil what we have been cooking up for the past 2 years.
Yes, that's right. There are so many exciting announcements to come through the rest of this event, so I really hope you're comfortable. Now, Dominika, I think we should probably start at the very beginning. What is the Blood of Dawnwalker?
The Blood of Dawnwalker is the first chapter of a brand new role-playing saga. It's a dark fantasy,
like a trilogy?
narrative-driven, epic adventure set in medieval Europe with a supernatural twist. Our aim for this game is to create a truly unique experience for you guys, a game that we have been dreaming about.
That sounds like my kind of game, I'm going to be honest. There are so many things to come tonight, and I know everyone here is really excited to share this all for the very first time. But for everyone at home, you're probably wondering, well, what does that mean for us? Well, you're going to hear more about the world, more about the lore, and for the very first time, you're going to see the full CGI trailer for the game as well. But it's not just any trailer, right?
It's not just some random trailer. It is actually the game's opening, setting up the stage for the whole game. It shows this one.
It's a proper breakdown. That's so interesting. Usually with these like game reveals, it's just a CGI trailer
I can't wait
or
to
something
see
of
how
that
the
manner.
community does, pouring over
But I feel like they're going a lot
every
further
second of
than
this
that,
trailer.
which I think is
In the
pretty
reveal
cool.
campaign so far, they've been incredible.
Oh yes, tell me about it. Discord, you guys are mind-blowing.
The Discord have been incredible, but soon we're going to throw it over to a bunch of the devs, and you're going to dive further into the world of Dawnwalker. You're going to learn more about the characters, the lore, and the art. Then we're going to weave in a few songs as well that should really help set the mood for the game itself. I've been listening to them non-stop, and they are incredible, right? Lastly, make sure you stick around all the way through, because we also have a very brief but very real gameplay teaser as well.
Yes, and it is an actual look at the state of the game as it is right now, straight from the engine. And in the meantime, we will be checking up on your comments, so make sure to drop all your thoughts or your impressions in the chat. My teammates, MJ and Mati, are already there with you and will respond whenever we can. And this is it for now.
Yes, that's it for now.
Let's get
All
into
right,
the
yeah,
mood
they're doing a
with
lot.
some music, and let's hear from our game director, Konrad Tomaszkiewicz, and our narrative director, Jakub Szamałek, who will tell you about how it all began.
That's right, friends. The time has finally come. Sit back, relax, and get ready to experience the world created by Rebel Wolves.
Mm. I'm assuming this is the in-game music they're playing right now. They said setting the mood, you know? While they're playing this, I just realized it's slightly cut off. There we go.
I decided to open the Rebels company because I felt that there is a huge space for innovation and for evolution in the open world RPGs. And to achieve that, you need to have independence and artistic freedom. And sometimes you need to make hard and risky decisions. And the best way to do that is to open your own company and to make your own choices. Do you remember the second Fallout from '98?
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite games ever, and I was so excited when you used that as a point of reference because for
okay.
some time now I've been aching to return to the promise and the value of old school computer RPGs, and to combine it with modern graphics, with bleeding edge tech, with a dynamic, fast-paced combat, merge these two together and see what comes out.
Exactly. And of course, we will not do the post-apocalyptic game. But what was really interesting in the second Fallout is the freedom. You could do there whatever you want. You exit the vault, you have the clear goal in front of you, you don't have main quest which telling you, okay, right now do that, next do that. You just like, you know, shape your own main story and you build your own experience. And
So like an
and
evolving
this is
world,
like the
in a
total
way?
freedom in the games.
Yeah, and as a writer, this is something that excites me about the games the most. The choices, the freedom, non-linearities, and I think this is something that's truly unique to video games. Like you can't emulate that in any other medium. So I'm so glad that we're making a game that sets out to explore that space and see what else, what new is to be done there. So that's great.
Also, if you will add to that the sense of urgency, the time, which actually is not really explored in the video games, and day and night loop, it would be really interesting because it will make the game different.
Yeah, no, I get that because the sense of urgency is so important in the context of open world RPGs where players can become distracted and kind of get away from the main story. So finding a way to make sure that they remain invested, that they remain at the edge of their seats is so important, and I think it's something that's lacking from the games in that niche.
And if you will add to that the hero who have the different loop at day and different loop at the night, it makes the game really unique.
I wonder if they're gonna try to do it like real time, day and night. That would be insane. Oh, trailer. Somewhere in the Carpathians? There we go.
Must be here somewhere.
Oh, that's a he? It's already giving me heavy Witcher vibes, but...
It's all right.
Oh,
Don't hurt her! You gave us quite the chase, young.
Please, sir. She's just a child.
oh,
Ah, Roderick, remind me, did I make an exception for children?
No, sire.
No. That would have been foolish, would it not? They spread the plague just as well as adults. And there's only one way to stamp out this sickness.
No!
by killing the child?
Not just a runner, but a fighter, too. Had we met under a different moon, things might have ended different.
Oh, oh, his leg's gone. Oh, 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 his leg just disappeared. Something came down and just yammed his leg. Oh, there it is. It's like a spirit. Oh, shit. That Genghis Khan. Vampires? I think it might be vampires. They're able to control blood.
Lunka. My sister. She needs help. Fast. Please, let us pass through. I beg of you. Please.
What the hell, man? Give him her blood?
I don't know. How? I am life. I am death. I am everything in between. I have been watching your little valley.
Oh, oh, oh boy. Oh boy.
For all of you.
The world needs what it fears. Damn. The Blood of Dawnwalker. That looked cool as hell. That looked damn cool,
So
man.
It takes place 2 years
Holy
after the events shown
moly.
in the intro, and it's
The way
just
the guy's
beginning
leg
of
just
a
got
greater saga we've been planning.
got yammed up.
So we get to meet the character at the beginning of his adventure,
That was so
which I
sick.
think is really cool. And Coen in general is so much fun to write and flesh out because he's not your typical game protagonist. He's not a grizzled veteran who's seen it all, who is cynical about the world, who comments the world with like one-liners. He's a young guy who, at heart, is emotional. He can get vulnerable. He's honest about how he feels.
What I love in Coen is that he'll be never a superhero. He'll be never overpowered.
So
Every
Coen's
day,
the guy who
as a
was
human, he
carrying
can
his
fight with a
sister.
sword, he can use and discover dark magic, but he can be killed by anyone. At the night, he encountered a lot more difficult enemies. He can use some vampiric abilities,
Vampires,
not
yeah.
only in combat, but also he can use it to explore the world and to see the world in a totally different way.
Yeah, and he'll need all these cool superpowers because he's facing formidable enemies. This clique of vampires who decided to take over the world, turn it upside down, and set the rules. And they are led by this super old and immensely powerful vampire called Brensis. Our game is set in 14th century Europe, and it's a world in deep crisis. First, the continent has been ravaged by the plague, then wars, and now famine. And all the while, vampires have been watching from the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And finally, when humanity is at its lowest, they come out of the shadows, they overthrow the feudal lords, and they move into their castles.
Vampires ruling the world is not necessarily the bad thing. Feudal lords in that time killed the whole villages to prevent, the plague. And the vampires, they defend Coen and his sister. They even healed Lunka. And, I know that people need to pay taxes in blood, but it's not a huge cost of safe and good life.
Well, to that I'd say that vampires' favors are uncertain. And sure, they protect the people of the valley where the game takes place, but they see them as cattle, so they protect them to then lead them and ultimately kill them. And the blood tax you mentioned, it's taken from everyone, the frail, the weak, the old. Each week they have to convene at the church for a blood mass. So for some people, that's deeply traumatizing or might even end up in them dying. So in the end, I'd say the balance is more or less equal. And that's something that I actually really like about our setting, this world, that nothing is simple. Nothing is just black.
It's not black or white, yeah. Literally
what
was about to say.
decide for yourself, like, what do I think is the right choice? What is the path I want to take? And what is the path I want to avoid? And ultimately, Coen's family ends up in the dungeons of the Vampire Lord. And even as Coen is trying to free them, he will meet people who still support the regime.
It's even more challenging for players because Coen has only 30 days and 30 nights to save his family.
There's a time limit.
In most games, sandbox means gameplay freedom. In our, it means narrative freedom. We don't think about the quest like the main quest or the side quest. We just have quests. Players will craft their experience to the game by themselves, and nobody will have the same. And we call it native sandbox.
Yeah, that's something that really excites me because.
But then there still must be a direct opening and ending, right? Unless there's going to be multiple endings.
And that's the true magic of video games, and that's why I love making them.
Welcome back, everybody.
Interesting.
And I hope you agree that that was worth the wait. Now, the best news is that we are just getting started tonight. And first things first, Dominika, that trailer.
I know, right?
That was cool as hell, that trailer.
Community out there, good news, we will be dropping the Polish version of the trailer with Polish dubbing on our social media channels right after the stream, so keep an eye on them.
I think a lot of people are going to want to rewatch that trailer, so I bet that they're really, really happy. But
Same.
we've got a lot to unpack.
I want to watch it in 4K.
So, you mentioned before that the trailer actually serves as the intro to the game.
Yeah.
So everything that we all just saw, that happens before the game starts?
Yeah, so the cinematic that takes place 2 years before the events from the game. So 2 years before Coen, our main protagonist, becomes a Dawnwalker.
Okay.
So you can see that in the CGI, he's still very young, he's very, inexperienced. You see that innocence in him, right? But that will need to change. The world is going to change drastically for him. He will need to grow up, he'll need to mature a bit. So you will see that in the other game assets, he looks a bit differently.
I did wonder why he looked so much younger. Clearly, Coen has had a rough couple of years. I can't wait to work out what happened in between. I think it's going to be pretty exciting. Now, but we didn't just meet Coen, right? We met his younger sister, Lunka, as well. But in the video we just saw, Conrad mentioned that she was healed. So does that mean she wasn't turned into a vampire then?
No, Lunka was indeed healed from the plague, the Black Death, by Brancis, this old vampire, leader of the vampire clique. And turning humans into vampires works a bit differently in our game. But we actually have another duo of devs who are going to talk about it in a moment.
Okay.
Interesting.
Well,
Okay.
then I won't steal their thunder. I'll let them explain it. But I guess what I should ask is, who or what is a Dawnwalker then?
This is such a loaded question. So many layers to it, honestly. Okay, but so the basic premise is like this. Dawnwalkers look like humans during the day, but they turn into vampires after
At
dusk.
night.
But
Gotcha.
they're not actually humans, and they're not actually vampires. They are something in between.
Okay, very mysterious. I love it. Now, Dawnwalker itself, it's a brand new IP, right?
Yeah, it is. It is completely original, and I think this is what actually makes this project really special for us, because it's a handcrafted universe, of course, rooted in real history, inspired by some myths and legends, but essentially built by our team from the ground up.
From a gamer perspective, again, knowing that you guys have full control, that you've got a vision for how this is going to be, and that you can actually implement that, it's just so exciting.
It's so exciting for us as well.
Yeah,
you know?
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Now, I could talk about this all day, but we should move on and talk about the art of Dawnwalker, the world and its inhabitants, which includes vampires.
Yes, and we will meet with our art director, Bartłomiej Gaweł, and our environment artist, Adam Payet.
And we're also going to hear more about the characters and narrative design as well, right?
Yes, and for that we will meet with our writer, Ariana Sierkiewicz, and our creative director, Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz. Take it away, guys.
Okay, let's go.
Man, look at this place. That would be perfect for the writing team.
Not just for them. I love storytelling myself. Since I can remember, telling stories through images is what I love to do.
Yeah.
So when I received the first script for the Dawnwalker, I fell in love with it right away.
I think for me, what got me was the concept art when I first saw those Carpathian villages hugging the mountain slopes, the valleys, forests, and then also the muddy streets of Svartrau and the long shadow of the cathedral. It all felt very authentic, muddy, and also very familiar, homely, and, well, Eastern European.
Not just Eastern Europe.
No, yeah.
It's a mix of predominantly Romanian motifs with broader influences of Balkan cultures. It gave us a freedom of creation. It's a vast range of inspiration from Polish log houses to Ukrainian or Balkan clothing to Romanian defensive churches.
That variety and that broad spectrum was also interesting to get because I never thought as an environment artist I would have to learn in Romanian how to Google specific museums just to get the references.
On the other hand, we also set a boundary for ourselves, and that boundary is a time period of inspiration ranging from the 13th to 15th century. And this is meant to ensure the visual consistency of the world.
Yeah, and that is also quite a challenge to make sure that what you create is authentic, grounded, and has a real sense of place, but at the same time isn't just a picture and invites exploration and promotes that gameplay.
I wanted to see how far we could push realism so that players truly feel part of the narrative. But this is not a simulation of medieval life.
Not at all.
Because the simulation of medieval life had vampires.
And we wanted to create something exciting. And that's where the magic comes in.
Yes, the magic.
Our magic isn't filled with fireballs or flashy lights.
It's probably even more interesting to get right than the realism part of it, because when a quest brief comes through and the magic is manifest by, I don't know, birds flying in the sky in a strange formation or the northern lights not being in the north, it really makes you rethink the whole location and how it should come together to marry those two aspects.
Our magic is also serious and it's closer to paranormal phenomena than to traditional spellcasting. It's like the X-Files set in the Middle Ages, all deeply rooted in the history of the Dawnwalker world.
The X-Files set in the Middle Ages. That would be that's such an interesting way to put it.
To take a location and really push it one notch above realism to give it a slightly off feeling. I think my favorite location for that is the cathedral. During the daytime, it's that monument to Gothic architecture with people bustling around. And then as soon as the sun starts setting in and the streets clear, the fog starts setting in, and it becomes a completely transformed, different area, very spooky, almost liminal, cemetery-like space.
And that was also a very early and conscious choice on our part. We wanted the world to be a different place after the sun sets.
Right, so hold on. Environment art is something I understand, right? I do it every day, I understand the creative process behind it, but I've never touched anything to do with character art, which is your speciality. So would you mind walking me through what was your creative process in coming up with that whole thing?
Sure. So we approach the work on vampires very seriously. It's a whole new universe. What's even better is that it's a mix of familiar elements with a fresh twist. We all know that vampires are well defined in pop culture and have been around for a long time, so we wanted to create something fresh. So what primarily sets them apart is their teeth. Our vampire teeth keep growing throughout their lives. The older the vampire, the more teeth they have. So instead of two sharp teeth, they have a series of needle-like fangs densely growing from their jaws.
So that's why the main vampire guy had that many teeth.
The teeth keep growing because the vampire can use them to create another vampire. And the mechanism is very simple. The vampire pulls out his fang and drives it into the heart of its victim.
Lovely.
So what's interesting is that our vampire's teeth aren't visible at first. They can extend as the mouth opens, and it looks really creepy.
Yeah, I still remember the first time that the animations came through from the character art team, showing the mouth opening and the teeth growing, and it was absolutely disgusting. I loved every bit of it.
So Coen's Argyria, the silver poisoning he got when he was working in the mines, is both a blessing and a curse. Because on one hand, it weakens him. On the other hand, it protects him from becoming a vampire fully. So, you know, he gets to traverse both worlds, both the world of humanity and the world of the creatures of the night.
So that's where that part comes in. Gotcha.
Well, he was kind of used to dealing with the vampires since it's been like a couple years since Francis took over. Now he has to find a way to deal with things like undead lurking in ancient tombs that should have remained closed. Kobolds that used to only prey on miners going way too deep into the mines, or even Uriashes, who used to live high up in the mountains, secluded, and now they are in Francis's troops.
Yeah, and they are vastly different.
Oh yeah, they all have their own separate cultures, and well, if you want to deal with them, I would kind of like to you should get to know them a bit, or else you might get tricked, because they all have their own goals, aspirations, now that they came out of the shadows in Francis's wake.
It's a source of a lot of tension, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of tension. Some of them can cooperate with humans, but mostly it's just new issues, new problems nobody had to deal with before.
But I think this is great because all of that tension, all of these problems are great storytelling material for us, for building all of that content. For example, Francis, he had to normalize this thing for the humanity, convince everyone this is the new normal.
Yeah.
And the way he did this was, first of all, you know, there was a lot of social turmoil. And on the other hand, a lot of deeply held religious beliefs. And he twisted them. He turned himself into this messianic figure. So, for example, he introduced these blood masses where he feeds a human vampire blood, right? And at the same time, they have these other things like punishing criminals with like
joining them drive. Wow.
Yeah, but
I have a feeling you're going to be given like a choice in the game.
Because because
where you're
once
gonna have to
Francis
punish a
came in,
criminal.
he set up a new order of things. He finally got down to business, and then he locked the valley off so that nobody can touch it. No outside.
We're probably gonna have to
outside
end up going
influence
to a
can touch
blood
it.
mass as well.
And well, some others did not like it so much, and they began to reach into the depths of forgotten magic, occult, stuff like that.
Yeah, so either way you look at it, the Vale Sangora will never be the same again.
Not a chance. Well, that is a lot of world building, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. There are so many things we need to remember to make this into a cohesive whole. And at the same time, you have the challenges posed by the open world itself. Because, there is a risk of the content being formulaic or repetitive. We handcraft all of it, and we focus on telling these unique themes we really care about.
Oh yeah, we want to talk about loss, about the meaning of family, about opposing tyranny, about trying to coexist with creatures you've never had to coexist with before.
Well, but that would be difficult to do with just Coen and Francis, right?
Impossible, actually. We had to create a whole host of characters, and we really wanted to avoid having cardboard cutouts, like without motivations, without backgrounds, goals, and ambitions. But when you meet those characters, your goals and ambitions may overlap, and you befriend them, or it may be the opposite, and you go on a warpath with them. But given the goals that you have ahead of you, it might be good to have some friends to go along with.
Considering they said that it was a
if you wanted.
Well,
narrative sandbox, you're gonna have to make alliances at some point, I guess, during the story. So there must be like several different branching paths that you could possibly take.
I don't know, listen to what an agent from outside of Vale Sangora has to say.
Which is exactly why I love how we structured the game, because we offer a lot of choice in which characters do you want to interact with, which you might want to skip altogether. And also on top of that, you have this layer of non-linearities where you can decide their fates, but also the fate of Coen and his family.
Yeah, and I really like that because it gives us so much replayability. You can always choose a different path. There's something else waiting there for you.
Yeah, exactly. And also on top of that, you get to
multiple
find
endings,
all the secrets of Vale Sangora and fill all the blanks and explore the world.
And yet another path might be lurking within that.
Handcrafted content is all good and well, but on top of that, we also have a number of really cool gameplay systems that further feed into the narrative.
Yeah, and speaking of feeding, my favorite one is the blood hunger. It lets me play a real vampire. I don't just have to drink blood to use my cool abilities in combat, but if I talk to someone without feeding first, I might just lose control and I might eat them.
Interesting.
It's not going to be just any random peasant that I won't care about. I can eat my best friend, and I will break my heart, and I will break my quests.
Yeah, so you better.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
You need to stay on top of that.
Do you have a faith?
Yeah, I really enjoy.
Imagine you forgot to like ingest blood,
because
and you accidentally ate the NPC.
This means that he will basically react to what Coen is doing. He will pass these edicts that will hinder your path. So, for example, he might set up military checkpoints that will be on your way.
That changes the world, right?
Yeah, exactly. And also, it's not just him running the show. It's also his 3 powerful vampire allies.
Yeah, the ones we saw, yeah.
In CGI, that was such a hype moment. Finally,
it was a hype moment.
Voiced and just loved it.
Yeah, and on top of being cool characters, they also have their own spheres of influence, and you get to dismantle their organization step by step, making it simpler for you to confront Francis and free your family.
Well, when it comes to freeing your family, there is one more antagonist, that is time itself, because every time you do something important in the game, when you complete an objective or you complete a quest, time moves forward.
Yeah, but what I really like about this also is it's not like real time.
Okay,
you actually get
so
to control how much of this resource you want to
so that
spend, right?
goes out the window of what I said before.
You have to manage it wisely, but if you just want to enjoy the view or just take a stroll, you can without stress. But once you get down to business, you have to do it smart.
Yeah, so I think all of these things combined, handmade quests and the gameplay systems, create for this really fun, unique experience.
Yeah, and you know what? I cannot wait to see what shenanigans players will get up to playing with those systems. I will be there watching it.
Same. As you can imagine, last 2 years were really intense for us. I want to thank the whole Rebels pack. You are the best, and it's a privilege to work with you. The Blood of Dawnwalker is a very special game for us because it's first.
I mean, it looks like a very special
what you
game.
have seen so far is only the beginning. In upcoming months, we will share more with you. But for now, I have one more surprise for you.
Gameplay. Gameplay. Narrative sandbox. You kind of create your own story because there's no such, apparently the way they said it, there's no such thing as actual side quests and main quests. How things happen will just be dependent on the choices you make. The characters you decide to speak with, the alliances you make, the characters you decide not to ally with. Loads of different options there and how the story can go. Which then again means that there's gonna be multiple endings to it. And there'll probably be secret endings as well. I'll be so intrigued to know how many endings there would be overall. We heard quite a bit about Coen. We didn't hear anything about I believe her name was Lunka. Lunka or Luna? One or the other, the sister. And how she plays into it because she got healed. And if I remember correctly from what they said earlier, she didn't turn into a vampire. But they're feeding humans their blood to turn them into vampires. This is so hype. Dum, 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 dum. Sick. That was dope. I think the OST is gonna, just based on that, I have a feeling the OST is gonna slap. Gameplay. The world needs what it fears. Oh, let's go. In-game. Oh, okay. Oh, that's Coen, I believe. Daytime. Whoa, that boss looked nuts. That boss looked crazy. It was a mix of paranormal and mechanical and... Oh, I need to see more. I need to see more, please. The Blood of Dawnwalker, please. More. Summer 2025. Oh, man. Jeff Keighley, please.
Back.
Jeff Keighley, please.
We have a lot to talk about.
That was good.
Some of those
That looked cool.
concept art
It's such a small snippet, though. But I just...
That's okay, I got you covered, no worries.
Very Assassin's Creed-like in a way. It's giving me Assassin's Creed... It's giving me Dishonored vibes, essentially. With your powers and, you know, the combat abilities. It looks dope.
So, as Coen, your objective is to save your family. But
30 days and 30 nights. And the guy said time is a resource.
All depends on you.
So does each quest you do have a resource, a time resource assigned to it? So you have to kind of decide if you can do this. Interesting.
Just those little bits of detail, all of the tie-ins, the full Wolf Moon. I love it. It makes me so excited to see what's coming. But the fact that decisions are going to matter in the game, like I can't do everything, right? It's just not going to be possible. And not just that, it's the start of a whole saga. It's not just this game.
It is an adventure through the ages where you walk the line between our world and its secret dark underbelly. And of course, while you'll get a complete satisfying story in this first installment, there will be so much more to unfold in the future titles.
It just sounds incredible.
They've got big plans,
Honestly,
man.
it's a game I can't
Huge
wait to
plans.
play myself, and having got to see that sneak peek, even now, it looks so beautiful. It's in Unreal Engine 5, right?
Yes, it is in the Unreal Engine 5 technology. You know, we filled it to the brim with cinematic dialogues and cutscenes.
UE5.
And since we're talking about the tech stuff, I do want to mention one more thing, which is the third-person perspective. You could already see, and yes, the game will be in the third-person perspective.
Nice.
To give you that classic action RPG.
Because I know a lot of some of the like recent RPGs kind of gone first person, which I don't necessarily hate, but if you can customize your character and stuff, you want it in third person, right?
Speaking of classic RPGs, the Blood of Dawnwalker will have no microtransactions. It will have no live service elements. There are going to be no NFTs or any of that.
Kind of crazy. This needs to be like clarified.
Experience, the kind of game that an RPG should be.
But good nonetheless.
Wow. Now, we did promise earlier that we'd keep our eyes on the questions coming in, so I will ask the big one. Dominika, do we have a release date?
Oh, I knew that would happen at some point. Okay.
Next year?
About the release date. We are not quite ready to announce it just yet, but don't worry. Once we are confident about this, we will let you know. And we will definitely let all of you guys know as well.
That's not coming till next year.
Join our official social media channels. We will be posting a lot in the upcoming months and giving you even more insight into the universe of Dawnwalker.
Yes, and if you just can't wait for more Dawnwalker content, check out the upcoming issue of PC Gamer as well. It's just a few weeks away and you're going to hear more about the world and the lore of Dawnwalker in there, so make sure that you don't miss it. But with that, we have reached the end of everything we are here to share with you tonight.
They went all in with this.
Absolute privilege to be a part of this.
Oh, thank you so much, Lionheart. Thank you so much to all of you watching us today. We're so happy that we could finally share all these cool things we have been working on.
It was most definitely cool.
And we will meet again this summer to talk more about the Blood of Dawnwalker, this time focusing on the gameplay features and unveiling how it actually plays. Until then,
thank you so much for joining us tonight, everyone. Stay safe, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, damn it. That was pretty damn good. That was really damn good. Medieval Europe, vampires, powers, combat, narrative sandbox, no main quests and side quests, 30 days and 30 nights that needs to be finished by. Time is a resource, so I'm assuming every quest you come across has a time resource assigned to it. Therefore, you can't do everything. Therefore, it needs multiple playthroughs. Therefore, there are multiple endings. This looks dope as hell. This looks really good. I'm down. I'm locked in with it. I hope to see some more very soon. They said summer 2025, so Summer Games Fest, I'm assuming. Jeff Keighley, please. Jeff, please. We want to see some more of it. But the Blood of Dawnwalker, yo, I can't wait to see more of it. I think it's gonna be pretty sick, man. Everything I've seen so far, it's leading me to believe it's gonna be pretty dope. Cannot wait to see more.